And I wasn't going to address this. I wasn't going to say nothing. But some of y'all comments are downright vile and disgusting. And you should be ashamed of yourself. But God ain't sleep and he ain't dead. And karma can spin the block for you at any moment. Be careful what you speak out of your mouth.
Funerals are usually meant to bring families closer, to allow everyone to grieve together, and to honor the life of a loved one who has passed away. They are supposed to be moments of unity, reflection, and respect. But in this case, things didn't go that way. What happened at Angie Stone's funeral has left people shocked, confused, and divided. Instead of peace, there was drama. Instead of closure, there was conflict. And right at the center of it all is her daughter, Diamond.
Stone's publicist, Deborah Champagne, tells me the singer was leaving a performance when the crash happened. According to the Alabama law enforcement agency, it was on I-65 around 7 a.m.
The situation has been so messy that the internet has been buzzing nonstop. Fans are debating, family members are pointing fingers, and everyone seems to have a different version of the story. What should have been a dignified farewell for a respected singer turned into a spectacle that has people questioning motives, judging actions, and wondering how grief could lead to so much chaos. Let's take a step back and walk through what actually happened, why people are so upset, and how this tragedy spiraled into a public family feud.
Okay, I posted my Cash App. If you want to donate, donate. If you don't. All that negative, where her money at, why she doing this, it don't matter why I'm doing it.
To understand the weight of this drama, you have to know who Angie Stone was. She wasn't just a singer. She was a soul music legend, a woman whose voice touched millions, and an artist who had worked for decades to build her career. Her songs spoke to love, heartbreak, faith, and resilience. She inspired countless fans and left behind a legacy in the world of music that won't be forgotten anytime soon. But like many artists, Angie's personal life wasn't perfect. Fame doesn't protect anyone from family struggles, and Angie had her share of challenges. One of the most publicized aspects of her private life was her rocky relationship with her daughter, Diamond. Their bond wasn't always smooth, and over the years, bits and pieces of their tension came to light. Sometimes the love was visible. Other times, the disagreements overshadowed everything else. So when Angie passed away, many people expected the funeral to be emotional, but healing. They thought this would be a moment for her daughter to step forward, honor her mother's memory, and perhaps close old wounds with a touching tribute. Sadly, what actually happened was very different.
And anybody who know me know I go 10 toes about mine. So if you don't want to send nothing, don't. We don't need you to send nothing, but if you want to, feel free.
Expected the funeral to be emotional, but healing. They thought this would be a moment for her daughter to step forward, honor her mother's memory, and perhaps close old wounds with a touching tribute. Sadly, what actually happened was very different. As Angie Stone's only daughter, Diamond had the most anticipated role at the funeral. People waited for her to share heartfelt words about her mother, something that would capture both the pain of losing her and the beauty of her life. But when she spoke, the reaction was not what anyone expected. According to those who were there, Diamond's speech didn't feel warm or sentimental. Instead of focusing on celebrating her mother's legacy, some of her words touched on old issues and past wounds. To many people, it came across as cold, even disrespectful. Now, funerals are emotional places. Grief comes out in different ways. But some of the guests felt that Diamond used the moment to air out personal feelings that didn't belong in that setting.
I'm living my worst nightmare. And people dragging my name, my brother, like, go to hell. And God bless at the same time. I shared my mama with the world. Y'all lost a celebrity. Y'all lost an artist. I lost my mama.
There were whispers in the crowd, people rolling their eyes, and an uncomfortable energy that spread through the room. Some thought she was being brutally honest, while others thought she was crossing a line. And if you've ever been to a funeral where family issues start bubbling up, you already know it doesn't take long for things to turn sour. But the speech was only the beginning. Shortly after the funeral, Diamond did something that poured gasoline on an already growing fire. She posted her Cash App information online, asking for donations. Now, let's be clear, it's not unusual for families to ask for financial help during funerals. Death can be expensive, and not every family is prepared to cover the sudden costs of arrangements, memorial services, or related expenses. Crowdfunding has become common in those situations, but this wasn't just any family. This was Angie Stone's family. She was a successful artist with decades in the music industry, and to many people, it felt strange that her daughter would need to request donations. Almost immediately, people started questioning why the money was necessary. Some accused Diamond of trying to profit from her mother's passing. Others called it distasteful timing, saying she should have at least waited before asking for help publicly. The backlash was fast and loud. Social media users labeled it a scam. Comments piled up accusing Diamond of exploiting her mother's death. And when the internet starts painting someone as dishonest, the rumors only multiply. Diamond didn't stay silent, though. She responded online, insisting that the money was for funeral costs and family needs. She called out people for judging without knowing the full situation. But by then, the damage was done. Public opinion had already shifted, and once the internet sees someone as suspicious, it's almost impossible to undo. If the Cash App scandal wasn't enough, things escalated even further when pictures surfaced of Diamond wearing jewelry that fans believed belonged to Angie. To outsiders, it looked like she was showing off her mother's belongings just days after the funeral. Comments started flooding in. "Ain't no way you already got your mama's jewelry on." That's wild. Not even a week, and she's already playing dress up. Something's not right here. Now, to be fair, we don't know the full story. Angie could have given those pieces to Diamond before she passed. Or maybe Diamond was simply wearing them as a way to feel close to her mother. Jewelry often holds sentimental value, especially after a loss. But perception is everything, and to the public it looked bad. Instead of letting things calm down, Diamond got defensive again. She went back online to clap back, saying nobody had the right to judge how she grieved or what she did with her mother's belongings. But instead of clearing things up, her response added more fuel to the fire. The drama didn't just stay online. Reports began surfacing that Diamond was confronted in real life by people who were angry over how she was handling things. And these weren't just random strangers. Some sources claim family members and people close to Angie were part of the confrontations. One report even suggested that Diamond was physically attacked, and her brother had to step in to protect her. Since then, he has allegedly been acting like her personal security, making sure she isn't harmed again. This level of tension shows how serious the situation has become. What started as whispers during a funeral has now escalated into full-on family conflict, spilling into the public eye. Some relatives have distanced themselves, not wanting to get dragged into the mess, while others are openly criticizing Diamond. Many of them feel she turned the funeral into a spectacle about herself rather than focusing on honoring her mother's legacy. Through all of this, Diamond hasn't backed down. She has been outspoken on social media, defending her choices and criticizing those she feels betrayed her. In one post, she wrote something that caught everyone's attention. "It will be your own family that switches up first. I see everything, and I will never forget who was there for me and who wasn't." That one statement sparked even more speculation. Who exactly was she talking about? Was it aimed at specific relatives? Or was it a general statement about the lack of support she felt? Some people began digging into old interviews and posts, looking for signs of past family issues. Angie herself had spoken before about family struggles, so this wasn't entirely new. Many now believe this funeral drama was simply the tipping point of years of unresolved conflict. And here's where things could get even messier. Angie Stone's estate. Whenever a celebrity passes, questions about money, property, and royalties surface. If the family is already divided, the process of managing her estate could open up a whole new chapter of drama. Right now, some people are demanding proof of where the donation money actually went. They want receipts, transparency, and clarity. If you ask the public for money, you owe them an explanation, one commenter wrote. Others are flat out accusing Diamond of misusing funds. On the flip side, some defend her. They argue that grief makes people act in ways that don't always make sense to outsiders. Mourning isn't the same for everyone, and just because Diamond's way of handling things looks messy doesn't mean her intentions are bad. Still, the damage to her reputation is real. Her name has become tied to controversy rather than the legacy of her mother. And once the internet brands you as problematic, it's difficult to rebuild trust. This entire situation shows just how quickly public perception can change. One moment, people are offering sympathy. The next, they're calling someone a scammer. Social media doesn't allow much room for mistakes, and the court of public opinion moves fast. For Diamond, the path forward isn't clear. She can either go silent and hope the storm dies down, or she can try to win people back with complete transparency, showing proof of expenses, explaining her choices, and letting people see the truth for themselves. But no matter what, one thing is clear: the internet doesn't forget.